If you build a skyscraper without a foundation, it's gonna collapse. The foundation is self-improvement. The foundation is, what are you putting into your body? Are you putting into your body things that heal or things that hurt? Fresh, whole vegetables? Or are you shocking your body with all this greasy, fatty, processed foods? What are you feeding your mind? That's the foundation as well. Are you feeding your mind TikTok? Are you feeding your mind porn? Are you feeding your mind senseless video games? What are you feeding your soul? What kind of music are you listening to? Are you listening to empowering music, or are you listening to disempowering music? Are you feeding your soul thankfulness and appreciation for the things in your life, people in your life? What's your health space? Are you walking every day? Are you getting your heart to a heart rate at least once a day? Are you putting in sweaty exercise? These are the foundations for the skyscraper, which is your success in life. And they keep adding floors and floors and floors. Eventually, without a foundation, you're gonna hit floor 51, 52, and it's gonna crash. And you're gonna wonder why it crashed. And all the engineers are gonna tell you because it didn't have a foundation.
Eating to live, yeah, I'm living to eat. Catch me enjoying vegan recipes. Fiend for chlorophyll.
Greetings, it's your boy Gartatia. Today with a powerful message of success without self-improvement is worthless, or success without self-improvement will not last, right? A lot of you all, congratulations. You found your passion. Congratulations, here's a pat on the back. You finally have a purpose. You have separated yourself from the masses, from the countless number of sheep who don't have a purpose, who just work a 9 to 5. And there's nothing wrong with that. But their sole purpose is literally just hedonism, make enough money so that on the weekends they can just enjoy life, pleasure. This feels good, right? Okay, now you have a purpose. Good. In your free time, you're working on your purpose. Every second of your free time, you're working on that program, on that script for that new app you're making. Every special, every moment of free time you have, you are developing a hook for that new course you're about to sell. Every bit of free time you have, you are studying a different language, right? So you can finally build that Rosetta Stone course, right? Or so that you can finally start your education company of teaching new languages, your own Duolingo, right? Good. You're working on your purpose. You're grinding. But what do we see happen a lot of times? We see a lot of people on this journey. What do they start doing? They start, okay, good, they have a purpose and they get a sense of fulfillment from it. That's awesome. But what do they end up doing? They start neglecting their health. What do they end up doing? They start neglecting their mental health. What do they start doing? They start neglecting their physical health. What do they start doing? They start neglecting their morals, their values, their ethics. They're not checking in with themselves. They're not checking in with their loved ones, right? What else do they start doing? They start, losing faith. They stop doing the practices they used to do. If they're religious, they stop praying. If they're spiritual, they stop doing yoga or meditating, right? We see all these things get completely replaced with their passion, which that's one of the better things you can replace those things with. I'm not encouraging that. However, that's one of the better things. But again, if you only focus on your purpose and let everything else fall by your wayside, it is literally a recipe for disaster. And something that confirmed it to me, I'm bumping one of my favorite podcasters. His name is Russell Brunson. If you know him, he's like a multi-million-dollar marketing genius. He has transformed the lives of so many entrepreneurs. His thing is he builds funnels, and funnels is a app or program that pretty much helps entrepreneurs build a platform, helps them promote, helps them get traffic to their whatever thing that they're doing. And he also offers coaching programs. And a story he had from his coaching program, something he's observed from coaching thousands of people over 2 decades, was that there were 2 groups of people he noticed. He noticed that both of the groups of people had big ideas, right? Both of the groups of people had good ideas, and both of the groups of people worked hard, right? So these are the 2 groups. But he said the difference between the groups of people, one group of people like strictly focused on their purpose. What is that? If they had a bakery or some sort of recipe restaurant type of business, one type of person literally would neglect everything else. So that's no relationship, that's no friends, that's no social life, that's no going to the gym, that's still no entertainment, no distractions, but that's literally, no yoga, no pray, no meditation, no healthy diet, just 100%, just, staying up all night, not getting sleep, just completely like immersed into their purpose, just like eating McDonald's, order in, because no time to cook, body not working out, literally just, hunched over, working on their business 24/7, right? That's one group. And he said another group he noticed were still dedicated, still driven, still focused. However, not working on their business 100%, maybe putting 60%. So a majority of their time is going towards their business, but the 40% of their time, right, that's going towards the other pillars of life, mental health, right? The health space, the heart space, the head space, the soul space. That's what the other group was working on. And it was an interesting story. What do you all think? Who's going to do better in life? Who went the furthest, the fastest? Who made the most money over the shortest period of time? Was it Group A or Group B? Guess what? It was Group B. Group A put, like, technically on paper, Group A put in way more time, right, into actually growing their business. But Group B, who put a little bit less time into growing their business and put more time into other things that gave them a more balanced life, they experience exponentially more growth. I forgot the numbers, but it was almost like 150 to 200%, almost double the amount of growth over a short amount of time than the group that completely focused on their purpose and let everything else fall by the wayside, good and bad. What does that tell you? What lesson can we learn from that? The lesson we can learn from that is just focusing on success without self-improvement is a recipe for disaster. And honestly, that result is only half of the equation, right? Because that's only showing the negative side effects of neglecting everything else in your life and just focusing on your success. That's only showing the negative side effects in the present moment, right? But only focusing on your business and ignoring everything else, it has tremendous, like, long-term disastrous results, like even way worse in the present. A lot of times in the future, right, if you only focus on your purpose, you may be successful in that purpose on the short run. You may actually make it, quote unquote, hit that $1 million 2 Comma Club, quote unquote, get that 100K TikTok followers. Whatever your milestone is, you will reach it. That's one thing about the universe. If you literally put everything into something, you will reach it. So the people who 100% focus on their purpose, they usually will reach their goal, right? And in a very rare occasion, they may even reach their goal faster in the beginning. However, like the long-term sustained growth, it's always downhill from there. They always hit this plateau and they crash. They crash because it's literally it's the story of, imagine enemies attack your country and you're called to battle, right? So enemies attack your country, you're called to battle. You have two types of people. You have somebody who, oh, we're attacking, and just grabs their jacket, puts on their boots, and runs to the front lines, right? Guess what? They might kill a few enemies. They might experience some war, like offset. They might experience these first two battles. They might even make an impact. They might even help save a few lives, right? But guess what? They probably won't last long. They might probably die, like be the first person to die. They will have a mental breakdown and shut down once they get to the combat because they're not used to it, right? Whereas the other group, okay, the same thing they run, but they run to sign up to a training camp, to a boot camp. They go through a month of basic training. They're focused on their diet. They're focusing on discipline. They have drill sergeants teaching them, what to do, how to use guns, how to handle weapons, how to handle equipment, how to drive a tank, so on and so forth. So guess what? That guy who just rushed into the battle, right? He may have seen battle first. He may have got some experience, like, first off, but guess what? He's missing a leg now. Guess what? He probably got PTSD. Guess what? He probably lost his whole team of people who jumped in like that, right? Because he doesn't have the training. He wasn't prepared, right? And that's what happens. A lot of these people who, and when I say people, I'm speaking of me. So, like, in the past, there have been times where I completely focused on something and neglected other things in my life. And you see what happens is you end up unprepared not only do you end up unprepared for the thing that you actually put all your time into, you actually end up unprepared in life, right? And you end up unprepared because you put all your eggs in one basket, right? And life is full of surprises. So when you get hit with a surprise, when all you've done is focus on one basket, you don't know what to do in that situation, right? And a lot of times, the only thing you have to fall back on, your only back plan is your purpose, right? But if your purpose isn't working anymore, or it requires you a new approach, or you need like critical thinking, or you need a new inspiration or something, if all you have is that one thing that you're doing, a lot of times that's how people hold on to things that aren't serving them anymore. A lot of times that's how people, keep running a business that doesn't have any clients or doesn't have any people interested in it. That's how you have people 5-6 years, running that collateral shop, or 5-6 years running that internet cafe, or 10 to 15 years running that ice cream shop. And then they're like, oh, I wonder why I'm not going anywhere. And I put so much where I put all my energy into it. Well, that's why you put all your energy into the ice cream shop. You didn't put any energy into how do I socialize better. You didn't put any energy into how can I have more energy, more life force in me so that I can work longer hours. You didn't put any time into how can I build my mental health so that when a burglar breaks in and steals all my shit, I don't have a mental breakdown. So that when one of my partners fucking pulls a stab me in my back or betrays me or whatever, and it takes half the company's worth and jump ship, I don't try to like kill the person and they end up in jail. So that when I go through a dry spell in my business where it's like a COVID or like a month of making less than $100 a day in my coffee shop, right? So that I don't fall into depression and want to give up, right? Or my soul space, right? When I'm going through a hard time and I need direction and I need guidance, right? And I don't have the support system around me, right? And I've abandoned my spirituality. I've abandoned my belief system, right? Guess what? You neglect that, you have nothing to fall back on. You have no belief in yourself because you've pretty much choked the life out of, any other avenue of life because you refuse to not diversify. This isn't diversify from the sense of multiple businesses, but you want to diversify the areas of your life that need improvement, right? Self-improvement is pivotal to being successful in any endeavor in life. Personal development is what's going to separate you from a 5-year, 5 seconds of fame business to a 10, 15, 20, 30-year plus, you're taking over, you're like a monopoly, that's what's going to separate you because what does they say? It's a marathon, not a race, right? The people who train for a marathon, they undergo, years of training the body. They're doing cardio every day. People who train for a marathon, what are they doing? Every morning they're waking up at 5 a.m. and they are putting fresh water in their body the first thing. What are they doing? They're visualizing, what it feels like to win the race, to win the 500 meter, to win the 4-minute mile. They're visualizing that, right? Then what do? They go on the track. They're training every day, right? They're taking ice cold baths, right? They don't just say, I'm going to run a marathon and then just start running. No, they practice for weeks, for months, even years before they even attempt it, right? And it's not to say, and people say, oh, well, like, I thought you said you should just do stuff and then you shouldn't plan too much. No, there's a balance of, there should, I don't like the word planning. I like to use the word thoughtful. Anything you do should be thoughtful and with intention. So I believe that if you put thoughtfulness and intention into the endeavor you want to do, you should do enough research so that you know the type of skills or the type of stress or demands that it's going to require. And you don't go too deep into this because this might make you scared and then you don't want to do it anymore. But do enough so that you know, okay, I'm trying to be an astronaut. That's going to require me to handle my claustrophobia. That's going to require me to handle my fear of heights. That's going to require me to be really good at science and physics. So now that you know that, okay, to be good at science and physics, I need to be able to focus to study for long periods of time. Oh, I have shitty focus. Oh, so therefore, what improves my focus? What improves my focus? Meditate. Now you know you got to meditate. You see? Why am I scared of heights? Oh, I'm scared of heights because that's a fear that I've never handled. I've never dealt with. Look into that fear. Okay, what will help me overcome that fear of heights? Oh, hypnotherapy. Oh, meditation. Oh, regular therapy, right? So when you do not planning too much, not over planning, but when you do when you put thoughtfulness and intention into the endeavor that you're going to undertake, right? When you put just a little bit of thoughtfulness or intention in it, that gives you an understanding of the type of daily habits of self-improvement that you need to incorporate into those daily habits, so that when you get to a point where you're actually dangerous in the business, in the field, and whatever service you're giving to the world, right? You will be able to remain dangerous, and you'll be able to continue to become more lethal over time because you've built the foundation, right? It's like a house. So, consistent success over time is like a skyscraper, right? If you build a skyscraper without a foundation, it's going to collapse, right? So that's why if you and the foundation is self-improvement. The foundation is personal development. The foundation is that day in, day out. The foundation is that waking up at 5 a.m. The foundation is, what are you putting into your body? Are you putting into your body things that heal or things that hurt? Are you putting into your body fresh, whole vegetables? Are you shocking your body with all this greasy, fatty, processed foods, right? What's the headspace? Right? What are you feeding your mind? That's the foundation as well. Are you feeding your mind TikTok? Are you feeding your mind porn? Are you feeding your mind, senseless video games and violence that desensitize you? Are you feeding your mind, a rush of all of these hype beasts or all of these people flexing their money on Instagram, right? Which lowers your self-esteem, which lowers your self-confidence. Is that what you're feeding yourself? Right? If that's the case, then you're building a bad foundation, right? What's the other foundation of self-improvement, right? What's the soul space? What are you feeding your soul, right? What kind of music are you listening to? Are you listening to empowering music, or are you listening to disempowering music that talks about these niggas ain't shit or these bitches ain't shit? Are you listening to empowering music like Nas, like I Know I Can, right? What else are you feeding your soul? Are you taking time to reflect on gratitude? Are you feeding your soul thankfulness and appreciation for the things in your life, appreciation for the people in your life? Are you building that foundation? What's the other pillar foundation? What's your health space? Are you taking care of the vehicle that is going to drive you to the destination that you want to be? Are you walking every day? They say if you don't use it, you lose it. How are you helping the vehicle foundation part of your life? Are you exercising? Are you getting your heart to a heart rate at least once a day? Are you putting in sweaty exercise so that your heart, in situations where you're stressed, in situations where you have to work for long hours, are you taking care of that health space foundation so that in parts of your business, in parts of your life where you have to pull an all-nighter, where you have to be in a meeting for 3 hours, where you have to stay up late working on that project or doing that collab with that artist, you're not completely drained and complaining and killing the vibe, right? So that they're not going to want to do business with you again. So these are the foundations for the skyscraper, which is your success in life. And if you don't have that foundation in place, right, what's going to happen? Here comes the builders, a construction crew. They come with the scaffolding. Layer after layer, you think you're growing. They're adding levels. They're building levels, level 2, level 4, level 5. Now it's level 30. You think, oh, I'm good. I'm floor number 30 and my skyscraper's looking nice, right? And they keep adding floors and floors and floors. But without a foundation, eventually, without a foundation, you're going to hit floor 51, 52, and it's going to crash. And you're going to wonder why it crashed. And all the engineers are going to tell you because it didn't have a foundation. And that's what happens when you just chase success without self-improvement, right? So yeah, I hope this video helped. This is just something that I've been seeing a lot. I've been seeing a lot of people neglect their health. I've been seeing a lot of people neglect their mental health. I've been seeing a lot of people neglect their body. I've been seeing people neglect their spirituality and completely immerse themselves into their purpose. And though part of me is proud of them, and I will always congratulate these people for at least doing that, because that is no small feat to finally find your passion. That is a magical moment in your life. However, I want to see you. I don't want to just see you chilling. I don't want to just see you successful. I want to see you make an impact. I want to see you around for a long time. I want to see you happy and fulfilled. And you can't be happy and fulfilled if you're 6 feet under. You can't be happy and fulfilled if everything you poured your time and energy to collapses, and then you don't have the mental health to deal with that, and then you off yourself, right? I don't want to see you have all this money and all this power, say you are successful, but then you didn't work on your soul space, right? And now you're some evil billionaire. We've never seen that before, right? That is participating in making this world a worse place. So that's even worse. Now you're ending other people's lives. Now you are a dictator. Now you are, on some Hitler shit trying to take over the world. So you're doing yourself a disservice and you're doing the world a disservice by just focusing on success and not self-improvement. You can't skip steps. It may be a little longer to get on self-improvement. It is a little more painful in the beginning because it's like, oh, why am I doing all this extra stuff? I want to just do what I want to do. But I promise you, it pays off. And it also gives you something to fall back on, because when the self-improvement isn't on point, now you built the body. Now you built the headspace. Now you built the social skills. Now you built the network, so that say your purpose doesn't work out, or say you have another purpose, you have the foundation to go anywhere. It's like Play-Doh, right? You have Play-Doh, and Play-Doh can be molded into anything, right? Or it's like clay versus Play-Doh. After you build a house out of Play-Doh, you can collapse the Play-Doh and then go make a zebra. Then if you're like, I don't want to do a zebra, I want to do a ship. You can collapse the Play-Doh and do a ship. But what is clay, right? Just focusing on success without self-improvement, that's like making something out of clay. We all know what clay is. You only make one thing out of clay. Say you want to make a pot out of clay, right? It's all good. You're making the pot out of clay. It could even be, an ornate pot. It could even be the most masterfully beautiful pot on the planet, right? You built that pot, and what happens? It rains outside before it dries. What happens? It's too windy. Your pot dries too fast, right? And then it falls down, and then it breaks. And we all know once a clay pot breaks, it's over. But if you were Play-Doh, if you built the self-improvement, right? Play-Doh, you can build anything you want. And then you can always go back and build something else, right? You always have options when you focus on self-improvement. Whereas when you only focus on success, all you have is that one option. And you all like to gamble so much. You all like to take risks. That's not a risk worth taking. Take other risks. Invest in crypto or something. Don't completely immerse yourself in one thing and neglect the other aspects. And the last thing I want to talk about on this topic, a lot of people think, oh, well, I'm not going to have, say I put 100% of my time only investing in and my success, right? But say I put only 60% of my time if I'm, dividing it between self-improvement and success. And it's going to be like, that doesn't make sense. I should put 100%. But guess what? Here's the thing. Here's the other thing why you shouldn't do that. 100% of your time being spent on your purpose without self-improvement is actually not even 100%. Because let's be real. We've all been there where, yes, we've had this, possessed, obsessive desire over our purpose. But we all know we're all human. We're all human. So guess what? You think you're spending 100% of your time, but those guys who say, oh, all my time is to my purpose. I'm on some Mark Zuckerberg shit where I just lock myself inside the college dorm and I don't talk to people and I don't see the day of light and I just focus on my code and building this thing and I'm going to luck out one day and become a billionaire. Like those days are gone, right? Let's be real. With all the distractions of nowadays, you're actually maybe spending 70% of your time at max if you are 100%. Because what are you doing? You get hungry. What do? Now you hopping on Uber Eats to order food because let's be real, you're probably not cooking if you're spending all your time on your purpose, right? What is that? That takes 20 minutes out your day. Say you do this twice a day, right? That's 40 minutes out your day, right? Okay, you eat. Let's just say you eat and you work on your purpose. Okay, cool, right? After you eat, right? You get a little tired because you definitely ate some shitty food. So guess what? Now you got the itis. But guess what? You got the itis and you ate a big lunch, right? All them crab legs is weighing on you. Now it's 4 p.m. and now you want to take a nap. You set the alarm for an hour later, but let's be real. You snooze that bitch. Now it's 2 hours later. Now it's 6 p.m. You wasted 2 hours literally sleeping again. This is the second time you slept because you decided to get that unhealthy food, right? From Red Lobster or whatever the fuck. Now it's 6 p.m. and you wasted 2 hours. Okay, now you wake up. You got a little nap in you. You feeling good. You work all night because you're not sleeping because you're spending your time. You work till like 5 a.m. You finally crash at 5 a.m. You wake up at 1 p.m. Now you slept extra. You needed, what's that, 5 to 1 p.m.? What is that? 7, 8, not 9 hours? My math is probably wrong. You slept 9 hours, right? And you still feel, you're still going to take another nap at 5 p.m. So you're sleeping 11 hours a day, right? And then guess what? You're sleeping 11 hours a day. If you do that math, you're only spending 13 hours minus the food. You're only spending like 10 hours a day on your purpose. And that's assuming that you're not getting distracted here and there on TikTok. That's assuming you're not getting distracted here and there looking at porn. That's assuming, which you probably are because you don't have any discipline because you're not on self-improvement. So let's cut that out. Let's say you're spending a max of 8 hours a day on your purpose. And guess what? That focus on your purpose, it's not consistent. You're not in deep flow because you're not meditating. You're not really, you go through phases of really into it and you go through phases of like, taking a little break. So you're actually probably only spending about 6 quality hours, right? But guess what? You're spending about 6 quality hours when you're on self-improvement on your purpose anyway, right? So at the end of the day, literally saying, oh, I only focus on my purpose 100% of the time is literally false and wrong because even a person on self-improvement is spending about the same time as you, right? Because say you go to the gym, that's about an hour, right? Because your diet's healthy, because you went to bed at a godly hour, right? Because you are meditating, right? And all that, you only need to sleep about maybe 7 hours and you feel restored. So that's 8 hours. Meditation, yoga, and what's another mental health practice? And visualization and journaling, that's all about 1 hour, right? So you only spend, what's that? That's about 11 hours, right? And guess what? Okay, yeah, you cook because you're focused on cooking might take 2 hours. Let's say 1 hour you spend, let's say cooking and eating takes 2 hours, right? That's 9 hours you have, right? Say you take 1 hour to like do yoga or some other spiritual health or to socialize, right? So say you put 2 hours to socialize or do yoga, right? That's 2 hours. Okay, so guess what? Now you're down to 7 hours. So you even have more time because guess what? You don't need any nap when you're really on self-improvement because your whole lifestyle, you have more energy. Maybe you're vegan. Maybe you are vegetarian. You're staying away from processed foods. You're not as tired. Your body has more energy. So now not only do you have more time with that 7 hours on your purpose, right? That 7 hours is actually like more useful than the 6 hours of the person not on his purpose because that 7 hours for you, especially if you've been on self-improvement for about a year, is focused. You're probably in deep flow state a lot. You're probably on dopamine detox. You're not checking your TikTok every 3 seconds. You're not watching porn if you're on self-improvement. You're not out here casually dating, casual sex, all that shit, right? So you're completely focused on your purpose when you set aside that time for your purpose. And that allows you to like put in way more time and like stunt and flex on these people who just focus on their purpose. So yeah, there you go. Literally, like, it's a no-brainer. I know my math was off, but I just really wanted to demonstrate that, like, my final nail in the coffin of why, like, don't just focus on that. But anywho, I think my camera's about to die. But yeah, as always, stay hydrated, stay breathing in that good ass oxygen, and most importantly, stay basic. I love you.